Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this awesome Minecraft animation from scratch in Blender. Quick sign up before we begin. Make sure if you haven't already to subscribe to the channel. I know all the cool kids are doing it. Jump in on that peer pressure. Also, make sure that you join the Discord link below in the description. So, if you're as amazing as I am, the first and only step to creating a video like that is to open Blender and stare at it, establishing dominance. If you are not as incredible as me, not to worry, I included the steps for that too. Disclaimer, this is not going to be a detailed tutorial for Blender, more just a breakdown of how my workflow was. I've been using Blender for years, but I haven't really done animations more than a few times. Now, if you do want a full step-by-step tutorial, however, that goes into detail on something like this, let me know in the comments below. The first thing I had to do was create the Minecraft Steve-shaped character, which was as simple as Googling the dimensions for it. To break it down, Steve's head is 8x8 pixel units, his body is 4x8x12, and his arms and legs are all 4x4x12. Once I did that, the next step was texturing the character, so naturally I did a quick trip to Minecraft.net and was able to download my player skin. Here you can see that I am doing what is called unwrapping the character, which literally just means turning the 3D model into a flat 2D image. Once that is done, I just imported the player skin image I downloaded earlier and lined up all of the unwrapped faces of the model with the image in the UV editor. Now here I just had to create the rig, which in animation terms is just another way of saying the skeleton of the character, because yes, Steve has a skeleton. I tried using automatic parenting with the rig since it usually does an okay job, however in this case it absolutely sucked creeper butt. So I had to nearly redo the entire weight painting manually. Now, if you don't know what weight painting is, that is just a way to determine which parts of the body will be affected when each bone moves. So basically, if the arm bone moves, I want the arm to move too, not the leg. So anything marked in yellow or red will be moved with the bone, and the blue remains unchanged and unmoved. Once I was satisfied with the weight painting, I decided to add 3D skin textures, as it is a staple of my Minecraft skin. After all, without it, I don't have my crown or my cool trench coat. However, getting that overlay texture to be transparent where there was no color in the image was a bit tricky, and it kept showing up black covering the rest of the character. But after a few minutes on Google and messing around in the cool shading tab, I was able to figure it out. From there, all I had to do was create the world. Easy task. My first thought was, oh, well, hey, Minecraft made up of cubes, so let me just make a cube, texture it with grass, and paste it everywhere. Yeah, that took about 15 minutes to get this far, then I gave up. Then I found out about an awesome tool called Mineways, in which you can take your world data from your Minecraft saves and convert it to a 3D model. So I made a quick Minecraft world and found a cool little spot that would make for a nice cinematic shot. Then I exported it as an OBJ. After importing the map into Blender, I needed to resize the player a bit to be more game accurate, otherwise he'd be giant like this. Then I could start doing the actual animation. In Blender and every other 3D animation software out there, animations are made using keyframes. What this is basically a snapshot in time that saves the location, the rotation, and the scale of the animation rig, that skeleton I created earlier. Once 2 keyframes are created, the software can then smoothly move the rig from one keyframe to the next, making a nice animation. That is literally all it takes. However, it does take a bit of practice to make sure your characters don't move like they have a broomstick up their butt. Once I did a lot of tweaking, I was pretty happy with the results, so it was time to add in some props. I wanted to reference the original inspiration for the animation, which is that picture I drew back at the start of my channel that I've used up until now for my video outros. Because of that, I gave myself the traditional diamond sword and torch combo. Once my props were all in, all I had to do was parent them to the rig bone so that they followed the player movements. Next up was creating the zombies, which luckily are essentially the exact same as the player, so I just copied and pasted and then swapped out the texture source image. Another bonus is that since the skin textures in Minecraft are saved the exact same way, I was almost able to just drag and drop with no edits. There was a couple of issues with faces not lining up in the right place, but that only took a quick second to fix. From here, all I had to do was animate the zombie so that it could interact with my player model, which is kind of like choreographing a dance. I literally sat here in front of my desk doing all the movements to see how the bodies should move and react to each other. Once I finished that, it was time for zombie number 2, which took far less time. After that, I took a quick second to simply bask in the glory of my own talent, and then it was time to figure out the cinematography and special effects. I wanted to keep a bit of an eerie Minecraft night feel, so I made the sky pretty dark blue and added a bit of violet blue fog. I also added in a slight bloom effect to make it pretty. Next, I just started experimenting with the different camera angles, seeing what looked best, and from there I animated the camera path the exact same way that I did the characters by using those keyframes. Took a bit of tweaking to get it to move smoothly around my player and have it time nicely with the animations, but once I got through that, I was super happy with the results. Now that the easy part was done, it was on to the last and final step, rendering. Just kidding. Rendering is definitely the easy part because all you have to do is press start and come back 12 hours later. Also, you can't use your computer at the same time. Depending on the output quality of the animation, the render time drastically changes. Since I didn't do a super high sample count and was using Eevee render engine as opposed to Cycles, my animation only took about 4 hours to finish rendering into an MP4 video. After that, I threw the MP4 into Vegas Movie Studio, my editing software of choice for my videos, and then scoured the World Wide Web for some sound effects and music. And I had to render the video once again, but this time into the final product. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to see more videos like this, or if you hated this one, be sure to let me know in the comments. Bye!